I used to tell women that any short haircut would take years off their face. I was wrong, and it took a mortifying salon consultation to admit it. Some shortcuts genuinely erase a decade. Others, done with good intentions, add 10 years right back on. Today I'm showing you the 3 haircuts over 60 that create real, visible age reversal, and the 3 that quietly work against you no matter how healthy your hair is. You'll know exactly what to ask for and exactly what to avoid before your next appointment. I researched the cuts, the colorists, and the styling mistakes that actually change how women over 60 are seen, so you get real answers, not guesswork. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now. I cover this every single week. Part 1. The 2 cuts that take years off instantly. Most women think a shorter cut automatically reads as younger. It doesn't. What actually reads as younger is where the weight sits in the hair, and almost nobody over 60 has been told that. A blunt, heavy cut with no movement drags the whole face down, no matter how short it is. I learned this from a viewer named Carol, who'd been getting the same chin-length bob for 11 years and couldn't understand why it stopped looking fresh around year 4. The first cut that genuinely reverses that effect is a soft, layered bob with face-framing pieces cut just past the jaw. The layering isn't decorative, it's structural. Shorter pieces around the face catch the light and lift attention up toward the eyes, while the longer underlayer keeps enough length to avoid that stiff, helmet-like shape so many women fear. Ask your stylist specifically for internal layering starting at cheekbone height, with the face-framing pieces point cut rather than blunt cut at the ends. Point cutting removes the hard line that makes hair look thick and heavy in the wrong way. It softens everything without losing density. Here's what changes once this cut is in place. Your jawline stops being the first thing people notice, because the eye is drawn upward to where the layers move. Carol told me that after this cut, 3 separate people asked if she'd done something different with her skincare. She hadn't touched her skincare. It was the hair moving attention off the lower face entirely. That's the real mechanism behind why this cut reads as younger. It's not the length, it's the redirection. The second cut that does this is a textured pixie with longer top pieces and a soft, swept side fringe. This one surprises people because they assume pixies only work on very thin faces, but the texturing is what makes it universal. Ask for a pixie with disconnected layering through the crown, meaning the top pieces are cut noticeably longer than the sides, then textured with a razor for softness rather than a blunt shear. That razor texture is the detail most salons skip, and it's the difference between a pixie that looks severe and one that looks effortless. The swept fringe piece is doing quiet work here too. Instead of a straight across bang that can age the forehead by creating a hard horizontal line, a swept fringe moves diagonally across the brow bone, softening the transition between hairline and face. Women who've worn the same side part for decades are often shocked at how much younger a soft swept fringe reads compared to a center part with no fringe at all. It's a small change with an outsized result, and it costs nothing extra at your next cut. There's a snapback moment I want you to really sit with. When the weight comes off the sides and the eye is redirected upward, people don't consciously think, she got a haircut. They think she looks well. That's the entire goal. Not looking younger in some artificial way, but looking like a woman who is thriving. And that read comes almost entirely from where the hair moves and where it doesn't. Before, Carol's chin-length bob sat heavy and stiff at the jaw, the ends blunt, no movement at all. After the point cut layers and face-framing pieces, the same length now lifts and moves with her, drawing the eye up and softening her whole lower face without her changing a single other thing about her routine. Now here's the uncomfortable part. The next cut on this list is one I used to recommend constantly, and it's quietly been aging women out of their own faces for years. Part 2. The cut that's secretly adding years. This is the one nobody wants to hear about, because it's the cut most stylists still default to when a woman says she wants something easy. The uniform one-length bob, cut straight across with zero layering, no texture, no movement anywhere. It looks tidy in the mirror under salon lighting. It looks completely different by hour 3 of a real day. Here's why it ages the face specifically, and it's not what most women assume. A single-length cut creates one continuous heavy line that sits right at the jaw or below it. That line acts like a shelf. It doesn't frame the face, it boxes it. The eye stops moving once it hits that hard edge, which means all the attention lands directly on the jawline and neck, the exact two areas most women over 60 are trying to soften, not spotlight. I had a viewer named Diane write to me convinced her neck had aged overnight. Nothing about her neck had changed. Her haircut had. The fix isn't abandoning the bob altogether. Plenty of women love the shape and shouldn't have to give it up. The fix is telling your stylist to break the line. Ask specifically for internal graduation, which means layers cut inside the shape rather than around its perimeter, so the outline stays roughly the same, but the inside of the cut has movement built into it. This keeps the tidiness a one-length bob is known for while removing the heavy shelf effect that drags at the jaw. A second request that transforms this same cut. A slightly angled perimeter instead of a perfectly straight one, longer in the front, gradually shorter toward the back. That subtle diagonal line does something a straight line can't. It creates a soft upward visual pull toward the cheekbones instead of a flat horizontal stop at the jaw. Diane made both changes at her next appointment. She told me the compliment she got wasn't about her hair at all. Someone told her she looked rested. That's the tell. When a haircut is working correctly, people credit your skin, your sleep, your mood, anything but the actual haircut. There's one more thing working against the one-length cut that almost never gets mentioned, and it's about density, not shape. As hair thins with age, a single heavy line actually makes the thinning more visible, not less, because there's nowhere for the eye to go except straight to that flat, uniform edge. Once you break it up with even a small amount of internal layering, the thinning reads as textured rather than sparse. That distinction changes everything about how the cut is perceived, and it costs you nothing at the chair beyond asking the right question. I want you to actually picture the difference here, because it's bigger than it sounds on paper. A straight, heavy line at the jaw with no movement, sitting stiff no matter which way you turn your head, versus that same length with internal graduation and a soft angled perimeter, moving naturally as you walk, catching light differently at every angle. Same starting length. Completely different result on camera, in photos, in every mirror you pass. If you've been wearing this exact cut for years thinking it was the safe, low-maintenance choice, you're not alone. And you're not doing anything wrong by loving the shape. You just needed the one sentence to say at your next appointment. Up next is a cut I genuinely didn't expect to make this list. Part 3. The long layer that works with you, not against you. Most advice for women over 60 tells you to cut everything short. I'm not going to tell you that because it's not universally true, and the exception is a cut almost nobody talks about correctly. Long layers, kept at a length that grazes the collarbone, cut with heavy internal movement rather than length removal at the ends. The instinct to chop everything off often comes from fear, not from what actually suits the face. A viewer named Patricia wrote to me in a bit of a panic, convinced that keeping any real length past 60 was automatically aging. What's actually aging isn't the length itself, it's length with no layering, hair that just hangs there with no shape doing any work for the face. Length by itself is neutral. Length with the wrong internal structure is what causes the problem. The fix here is asking for what stylists call heavy interior layering, starting well above the ends, sometimes as high as ear level, so the top and middle sections of the hair have real movement while the length stays intact. This is different from face framing layers, which only affect the pieces around your face. Interior layering reshapes the whole head of hair from the inside, removing the flat, curtain-like weight that makes long hair on mature women look tired rather than elegant. There's a second request worth making at the same appointment, and it makes a bigger difference than most women expect. Adding face framing pieces on top of the interior layering, cut to sit right around the cheekbone. This gives you two things working together, movement throughout the length from the interior layers, and lift right at the face from the shorter framing pieces. Patricia went from hair that hung stick straight and flat around her face to layers that lifted at the cheekbone and moved naturally past her shoulders. She told me the first thing she noticed wasn't even in the mirror, it was that her hair stopped feeling heavy on her neck by the end of the day. Here's the part that actually convinces most skeptics. Longer hair with real interior movement photographs better in almost every lighting condition than short hair does, because there's more surface area for the layers to catch and reflect light as you move. That's not opinion, it's simply how light behaves against layered strands versus a flat, heavy mass. A woman with well-layered long hair walking into a room reads as effortless in a way that a stiff, Overly structured short cuts sometimes can't match, particularly in soft or dim lighting like a restaurant or evening event. The result Patricia described to me stuck with me, because it wasn't about looking younger in the abstract, it was specific. She said people stopped asking if she was tired. That's the tell with this cut in particular. Weight and flatness in long hair reads as fatigue to other people even when you feel completely fine. And once the interior layering lifts that weight off, the tired read disappears along with it. Before, Patricia's hair hung flat and heavy past her shoulders with no interior shape, dragging her whole face down by the end of the day. After the heavy interior layering and cheekbone height face framing pieces, the same length now lifts, moves, and catches light instead of sitting stagnant. So if you've been told your only options past 60 are short and shorter, that's simply not true. You just need the right structure underneath the length. But there are 2 more cuts on this list, and one of them is the mistake I see most often in my own comments section. Part 4. The 2 cuts doing more harm than you realize. We're closing with the 2 cuts that come from good intentions and still work against you. And I want to be honest, the first one is the cut I get asked to defend the most, because on paper it sounds like exactly the right move. The severely graduated, stacked bob, cut very short and very tight at the back with heavy stacking, then angled dramatically longer toward the front. It's dramatic, it's structured, and it photographs beautifully in a single still salon photo. The problem shows up the moment you actually live in it. That heavy stacking at the back creates real bulk and volume exactly where you don't want visual weight, low and behind the head, which from certain angles can actually widen the silhouette of the head and neck rather than softening it. A viewer named Linda got this exact cut after seeing it on a much younger stylist's model photo. And within 2 weeks she was back asking how to soften it. The fix isn't avoiding structure entirely, some structure is genuinely flattering. The fix is asking for softened stacking instead of severe stacking, meaning the layers at the back are graduated more gradually rather than cut at a sharp, dramatic angle. Your stylist should be blending the back sections into the crown rather than creating one hard stacked shelf. This keeps the shape and the ease of styling that drew you to the cut in the first place, while removing the bulk that makes the back of the head look heavier than it actually is. There's also a simple styling adjustment that helps regardless of how the cut was done. And it's one most women haven't been told. Directing the back sections slightly forward and down while styling, rather than pushing for maximum height and stack at the crown, immediately reduces that widened silhouette. Linda made both changes, the softened cut and the styling adjustment, and said the difference from the side profile specifically was the most dramatic part. Her whole head shape looked more proportional to her frame. The second cut on this final list is one I still see recommended constantly online. The extremely short, cropped pixie with no length left anywhere, buzzed tight at the sides and back. For certain bone structures this can work beautifully. For most women over 60, it removes too many options at once. There's no length left to soften an angle, adjust for face shape on a given day, or add volume where thinning has become more noticeable. It's an unforgiving cut precisely because it leaves nothing to redirect the eye with. The fix here isn't abandoning short hair. It's choosing a slightly longer pixie with more length left through the crown and top, enough to comb over, add texture to, or lift for volume depending on the day. Ask for at least 1.5 inches of length on top, kept longer than the sides, so you retain styling flexibility that a fully buzzed cut simply doesn't allow. This single adjustment turns a rigid, one-way cut into one you can actually work with morning to morning. Before, Linda's severely stacked bob sat heavy and wide at the back with a hard shelf line, widening her whole silhouette from behind. After the softened stacking and forward-directed styling, the same short length now blends smoothly into the crown, keeping the shape she loved without the added bulk. Now you know all 3 cuts that take years off and all 3 that quietly work against you. And more importantly, exactly what to say at your next appointment to get it right. You now know exactly which cuts lift your face and which ones quietly work against it. And just as importantly, the exact words to use at your next appointment so you get it right the first time. That's not luck, that's information most women never get handed to them straight. Tell me in the comments, which of these 6 cuts is closest to what you're wearing right now? The ones that are working for you or the ones I'd gently ask you to reconsider? Next week I'm covering how to actually talk to your colorist so you walk out with the color you asked for instead of the color they thought you meant. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Beauty, and I'll see you in the next one.